Hey, welcome to Miles and Points Report for today. And as we talk to you now, keep this in mind if you're watching this later on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere else, that it is Thursday, April 27th, 2023. Thursday, April 27th, 2023. The Mississippi River is flooding outside my window here in St. Paul. Tommy is in California, where hopefully not near his front door. There's too much water as well because of a heavy snow, as we got here as well in Minnesota this winter. And if you're joining us for the first time, we talk about how to maximize your airline and hotel points and various tricks for travel and news and travel. So Tommy Danielsen is here. Tommy, you want to go first? What do you got for today?
Yeah, we got some interesting things to talk about. We missed out last week because of various travels and things, and you were just in Asia. How was that trip?
I was in Bangkok. I will tell you, you know, I have a long history of going to Bangkok.
I've heard, yeah.
But the one thing that surprised me, I mean, this is not going to make everybody want to jump in a plane and go there, but in the past, Thailand was very strict on anybody having drugs. They'd put you in jail right away. Doesn't mean there weren't any drugs, because northern Thailand is part of the Golden Triangle, so there's plenty of big time drug stuff going on, but casual users were severely punished.
Well, big time drug stuff.
Right. But I haven't been there in 3 years because of COVID. They shut down for more than 2 years very tightly. And I landed 2 weeks ago in downtown Bangkok, and about every 3 blocks, there's a store selling marijuana. I was like, what?
Wow.
While I was away, while we were all suffering from COVID and not going to Thailand, they legalized marijuana for medical purposes. And then it just sort of segued into for recreational purposes. And I read a piece in the Bangkok Post, which is the daily English language newspaper. The government's still trying to figure out how to license stores and what the requirements are, and they're very confused. It's usual bureaucracy.
They're going to get your money, though. That's the important. When they say, how are we going to license it? How are we going to rip people off?
Exactly, but they are.
Wow,
open.
That's interesting. Didn't they just hang a guy for having 2 pounds of marijuana in Singapore earlier this week?
Oh, Singapore is very tough. Yes, they have not crossed the line as Thailand has. But I was just astounded, and most of them sell just little clumps of weed and rolling papers so you can roll it in. But some have edibles, and the Bangkok Post said that they sort of semi-legalized it because it's everywhere, wide open, in hopes it would bring tourism back, which Thailand's never really had that problem. They have all kinds of other sins that bring visitors. Anyway, I had a lovely time. Didn't see many Americans. Went down to the island of Koh Samui for a week, and it was wonderful, and not many Americans. Still, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like we're going to talk a little bit about that later, but it seems like everybody's going to Europe this
exactly.
This summer. That seems to be the hot ticket.
Yep. Anyway, thank you for asking. Thailand was wonderful. There's still good street food, and prices are very reasonable. Luxury hotels were probably half the price of what you'd pay for a luxury hotel in New York or any other big American city or European city. Right.
Yeah. No kidding. We'll cover the why the reason is why Asia is in such a rut right now for many obvious reasons. But we'll get to that later in the show. But we're starting off with the legendary Park Hyatt in Tokyo closing its doors.
What?
Yes, it's finally time for them to do a full renovation.
Okay.
And
they're not closing down.
They're shutting down. The legendary hotel that was featured in
Lost in Translation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a used to be a favorite thing for frequent flyers in Tokyo who wants a luxurious experience and doesn't want to pay the highly inflated prices of luxury hotels in Tokyo. It's been I haven't been since 2017. I've stayed elsewhere in Tokyo the last time we've been there. We were in Tokyo in early 2020, like the last vacation we took before the COVID started. We were at a funeral in New Zealand and stopped in Fiji on the way home. But that was like the true vacation. It's one of my favorite cities. It's a great hotel. You've stayed there too as well.
They put us up there when I was years ago. I've been there not as recently as you have. When we were shooting our Hong Kong show for public television, the Park Hyatt was kind enough to put me in the crew up there. It didn't hurt that my daughter, who was only like 21 at the time, was working for a New York PR firm, who represented the Park Hyatt. That helped. But yeah, it was very cool because of the movie Lost in Translation. So much of it was set in that hotel, and people wanted to stay there all the time. I'm glad they're just renovating. I thought maybe they were shutting down completely. So they'll be open what, a year, probably even less than a year. They do those things pretty quickly, don't they?
Yeah, no, I mean, it depends. I mean, the Ritz in Paris was closed for 2 years,
True.
2.5 years, right?
Yeah, but you and I can't get a kitchen renovated in 7 months, and somehow they do hotels in a year.
I don't even know what that means, but sure, why not? Let's move on to. I wanted to talk a little about Hotelstop.com. They've had this this loyalty program for a few years that they've taken a stab at, right? I don't know.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this program?
I am not. No.
Yeah, they've
any hotel you booked on Hotels.com, you got points from Hotels.com?
Literally what they do is that every 10 nights you get one free, and it takes the average of the last X amount of nights, and that's how much you can spend on your free night. So it's like a stamp. You get a little stamp on the thing where, and if you have 10 nights at a $300 hotel, you get one $300 hotel night for free. That's
not bad. I've never really booked on Hotels.com, but okay. So
this is how it used to look. There was it was a useless program for those who occasionally use the portal. When you go to Italy and you go somewhere where there aren't any chain hotels, or there aren't, it's not bookable through another portal that gives you better benefits and stuff like that. It was a decent program. I mean, you could get the 10 stamps for 10 nights and boom, you had a free night.
Can I interrupt? I think you maybe just made it clear. You get a stamp for every night or every hotel that you stay at?
Every night you get a stay.
You stay 10 nights, you get a free room. Okay. Not bad.
Correct. And, but the problem was that, now they've changed it though. They're launching a new rewards program. And it's 80%. The value of those points, it's by 80%. So it's based on revenue, and it literally is. You get some. You can get. They did have a tier program, which is useless, but you can still get more points if you are VIP access properties, or if you're silver or gold with them. But it's come to be it used to be an interesting program that, some people cared about. Now it's completely useless. It is time to just leave that, to turn your back on that for sure. It is 2%. 2% is the kickback. Obviously from 10% to 2% is a big drop for sure.
You would get 2% back on the money you spend?
Basically? You get points. 1 key points is what they call it. Oh. And it's equivalent to 2% back, right?
Okay.
And it used to be like, 10 nights, get one free. That's, 10%, right?
Pretty straightforward, yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. And speaking of old timers, we were talking about old timers yesterday or earlier. AARP is now the young people's favorite membership program.
Well, there's a myth. There's always been a myth that you had to be a certain age to join AARP, which is like $12 a year or something. It's very cheap. And right. I started writing for their magazine when I was in my 40s, and I got a subscription. I said, well, I'm only 40. Am I allowed to? And they said, anybody can be an AARP. So I've told friends, who are younger, they go, well, I'm not 62 or whatever it's got to be. Okay, go ahead, carry on. What do they do? They're actually trying to.
You can join AARP when you are ready for it. 13 years old. And they've got some stuff. I mean, it's definitely a program for the $15 it costs to be a member. And I think it's even cheaper than that if you pay for 3 years in advance or something like that. So the Monkey Miles guy over on Boarding Area, he is huge on TikTok or whatever it's called, where all the kids are today. Right. And I read this article that Gary Leff, our dear friend Gary, wrote, and it's funny that from his link, he got 150,000 people to join AARP on TikTok, off of his TikTok.
Did he get a commission on that?
I don't know how it works, but $12 per year with auto renewal. You get to pick a free gift, and a second membership in your household is free. So $12. I mean, you can't shake a stick at that.
No, it's very cheap, and you get a monthly magazine that's sort of okay. But you know, they have a lot of discounts.
You get a monthly magazine?
Yeah, yeah.
I had no idea. I got to ask Melinda about that. But then
It's
again,
always
I'm not
got
the
it's
person.
always got somebody like over 62, some actor, or actress, or athlete who's still in their looks like they're in their prime. You know, they look much younger
Right.
than they are, saying, "Oh, look, it's great to be old." So I'm sure
Right.
that'll impress a lot of 13-year-olds.
Right. So I mean, just right off the bat, you get a lot of discounts for various hotels. You get okay, so this just in. Melinda said we went eco-friendly, so we turned down to have the electronic version of the magazine in our.
Okay. I'm sure most 13-year-olds would want that anyway. So.
Yeah, you know, they have those iPads.
Right.
So yeah, you know, there's you get a big discount on Denny's. At Denny's, I mean, I think it's just weird. You flip out your AARP card at Denny's because they think that you're super old, and then all of a sudden, you know, you come in there,
bunch of
me in
18-year-olds
my
coming
early
in after...
50s and flip. I guess it's 55 is when you start getting senior discount, isn't it?
I don't know.
You're in your 70s, for crying out loud. You don't get senior discounts?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I do. Oh, that was another nice thing when I landed in Thailand. That, you know, you have to wait a while to get through passport. If you're over 70, you go through a VIP line. And I was the third guy in line. Anyway, so there are advantages to being over 70. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's that. But I mean, this is like Gary says here. If you have AT&T on a personal account, you get $10 off per line per month, up to that. And so that's just, it pays for itself. It has a lot of good benefits in this thing.
It's $120 a year. That's not bad.
Yeah, no kidding.
For a $12 subscription or membership fee.
Yeah, no, $12. It's a gimme. You should do that. Speaking of gimme, you were talking about the Bilt card.
Well, I'm a real big advocate of this Bilt card. It's a new card issued by Wells Fargo. It was primarily designed to save renters.
Well, it's not issued with Wells Fargo. They have a strategic relationship with Wells Fargo.
Right. Let's see. Well, I have a card right here. Does it say Wells Fargo on the back? It doesn't. It just says MasterCard. Anyway, here's what it looks like.
Don't turn it around.
No, won't turn. It's a credit card. But the idea was, for example, I am a renter. I don't make enough money to buy it. Well, I used to own houses, but gave them all to girlfriends and a wife. But that's for another show.
Yeah.
So I rent, but I've been paying my rent with a credit card to get points and miles. And the management company, very good management company, very nice. I live in a very nice place. Charges $60 a month to process that credit card thing, and so do many others around the country. I never did calculate whether I'm taking a loss on paying $60, even though I get X number of miles. Anyway, Bilt came along and said, "Listen, all you renters who are getting charged $60 a month because you're putting them on credit cards to get miles, get a Bilt card." And what Bilt does is you pay Bilt like you would pay a credit card online. They then issue a check immediately to your landlord, your management company. So they're receiving a check, just as if I wrote them a check. Goodbye, $60 fee a month. Hello, for an extra $720 a month I'm saving with the Bilt card. The card costs nothing. By the same token, you don't get any sign-up bonus or anything, but it counts nothing. But you can use it as a credit card for anything. There's a little catch. You have to put 5 charges a month on it to collect your points that month. Well, right. You go to Starbucks, a drugstore, a dry cleaners, you're 3 out of 5 in one day. So you don't have to put any particular amount on, just 3 charges a month. But every month on rent day, which is the first of the month, they have a special deal.
No kidding.
Every month.
Send me a link about that today. That's pretty impressive what they have this month.
Yeah, well, last month they had, and I signed up for it. They have a deal. You can. Oh, by the way, you can travel. You can transfer your Bilt points to Air France, to United, to Hyatt.
American is one of they're the only ones that let you transfer points to American, which
really
is a big one. Well, yep.
Well, because they're a new card, they keep adding transfer points, but they have good transfer partners now. And last month the deal was, if you linked your Hyatt frequent guest account with your Bilt card. You don't have to use the Bilt card, just link it. You don't have to use it to stay at Hyatt.
You mean the account, not the card?
The account, right. And you stay 20 nights between now and I don't know, I think it's May 30th or June 30th, one or the other. If on that one day, if you linked, or they gave you a 3-day window there, if you linked, you only had to stay 20 nights to reach globalist status in Hyatt, which is a good thing to have, as opposed to if you're only working the Hyatt program, 60 nights in a year. So
In 3 months, though, so it's actually more if an average per quarter to do it. It's 20 in 3 months, right?
Yeah, you have to say 20 nights in 3 months, and then you're automatically a globalist immediately, good through like February of 2025 or
Right.
2024. But it's a lot better than having to say 60 nights in a year. So I signed
To
up
get
for
up
that.
to the status for sure. It's 60 nights per year versus, you have 4 quarters in a year. So that's 50 nights minus the hotel nights. But yeah, it's for those who don't have globalist. Absolutely. Just worth noting, it's what we call globalist light. Any promo that gives a fast track to globalist status. There are some things you get with globalist status that you only get when you pass 60 nights. You have to get so Hyatt has these various thresholds where at 50 nights you get 2 confirmed suite upgrades, at 60 you get 2 more, at 60 you get a free category 1 through 7, which is at most Hyatts, free nights at most Hyatts, and leading up to that, so you don't get those awards, you don't get my concierge, not that matters, it's just a wasted benefit anyways. And then you have those benefits that you get. Of course, the stay will be identical. You get the full free breakfast, you get, upgrades to standard suites and all that, a check-in and all that stuff. So that's
no resort fees, free parking. I mean,
no resort fees for sure when you are for globalists, and also there's no resort fees with Hyatt for all Hyatt members when you use points. And for globalists, it is free parking at the property when you're staying on points on the redemption. Because
it was a good deal. So this month's deal that you just referenced is on rent day.
Right.
You can transfer your Bilt points, and keep in mind, if you're paying a couple thousand a month in rent, you're getting up. At the end of the year, you got 24,000 points. You can transfer it to your Flying Blue account, which is Air France and a KLM. They're owned by the same company, and they'll give you 100% bonus on your points.
Right,
that's pretty darn good.
That's the best. That's the best bonus I think I've ever heard. Flying Blue have. It's a really enticing offer. That really is a grabber for me. I think I'm finally, for me, I don't rent. I haven't rented in a long time, but I, right now, regardless, there are things here that you can get, points you can get for free from Bilt, from, you say, 5 things, but it's there. The enticing thing for me is that if you have something, so rent day is another thing as well, right? Rent day means that you get double points on that particular day as well, also, right?
6 points on dining out for every $1 you spend instead of 2 or 3. 4 points, I think, on airline tickets. Right. If you buy some airline tickets, so I sort of wait to buy airline tickets if I can on rent day, or I'll go to an expensive restaurant with friends on rent day, which is the first day of the month. Now, listen, you can also, they keep expanding what counts. You don't have to be a renter to take advantage.
No. I hear you. The renter thing is an extra gig. I hear that.
But if you're paying for your kids' college lodging, they won't cover tuition. But if you use your rent card to pay for their housing, whether it's on campus or off campus, you will get Bilt points. If you link your cell phone card, your water bill, your electricity bill, Uber, exactly. There's
and you don't have to have the Bilt credit card to get all those benefits. That's just the regular Bilt membership.
Yeah, so it's worth looking into. And again, it costs nothing to get a Bilt card or a Bilt membership. It's a great way to accumulate points.
Annually, it's a free card, but like you said, there's no sign-up bonuses of any kind. That's obviously how they spend their marketing for doing rent day instead. I love it. I love the guy who came up with this stuff. Dave Canty, a friend of ours. He's on the advisory board for the Loyalty Summit and is a really, really smart guy. He has been working his tail off, and I love the success. And listen up, Dave. I'm going to get that card now.
All right, well, give Dave my personal congratulations. I'm delighted.
Well, you meet him in DC in the middle of he's at the Loyalty Summit mid-June in DC, so you'll meet. But listen, so I think that it's important to realize, right? 3 points dining. Amex Gold is a no cap gig around the globe. for 4X for the dining.
4X, yeah.
And then on travel, I mean, general travel, it's if I was buying, for example, renting a bus or doing something, buying train tickets or things like that, things that, things you have to purchase overseas, then definitely. The funny thing is, though, how do they do that? Because when you charge something on a particular day, what if the transaction doesn't post until the next day? How does that count?
No, you better ask David. I don't know. But also let me say, don't just do Bilt.com. You'll get a construction company. The website is Bilt, B-I-L-T, BiltRewards.com. Just FYI. If you're following this closely, which you should be if you're into points.
Right. The thing I'm saying is, like, for example, I
know what you mean.
I went to, or Melinda went to, we was getting my shampoo. I usually get one of my few indulges. I'm not as fancy and wealthy as you are. So Melinda got my my Aesop shampoo, which I get from Saks Fifth Avenue. You get $50 every 6 months on the Amex Platinum. She ordered it like the 28th of December, and it didn't post until January 2nd. And Amex and both of them told me to pounce in. So
they waited. Yeah. So it counted towards your 6 months in the new year, not December.
I mean, for restaurants, I don't see it being a problem, but there are, like, for example, if for the use that we have, I can see it being interesting for travel, right? Or if we have an event and there's a hotel that needs to charge us for something, 4X is a good gig. So for general travel, from a normal perspective, it's the Chase Sapphire Reserve, which we're going to talk about a little bit later today. That's the normally. And other spending is a 2X. So 2X day, great for all the bills you need to pay, for everything you need to pay that does 1X. I have the Capital One Venture X card is my 1X card where you get 2X for everything. So this might be a good thing because they got some currencies that are attractive to me. I know I'm going to get flack for saying that American Airlines miles, you don't have to fly American, but they are a good currency to have. And since I don't fly American anymore, I don't earn any. Right. So it would be a good way. So they have they have some unique transfer partners that others don't have, and American is one of them. So I truly looking forward to that, and I'm going to put that they have now hereby earned a space in my stack of cards.
Okay. All right. What else we got?
We've got mistake fares. We are talking about mistake fares.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. This is a good one.
Yeah. So mistake fares used to be a fun hobby back in the day. And I've personally had, we decided not to call them mistake fares a long time ago because it's not a mistake fare. It is a fair sale.
Yeah.
Because if you admit that it's a mistake, then you can't play stupid and go, oh, I didn't think it was I thought it was just on sale. So ANA is the latest one, but this has been historically problematic for a long wow. That is one old picture that they have up there.
Yes, it is.
But anyway, so this is from Straits Times in Singapore, and it's they reported, and it's been all over the place. The ANA had some tickets to North America from Asia on ANA, where you got, was it business class and first class for like $300-400
round trip.
Correct.
Unbelievable. That's a fat-fingered mistake. Have they? Last I read, they hadn't decided whether to honor them or not. Do you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Mr. Edwin Ang, a 22-year-old full-time national serviceman, and his two friends had managed to secure flights in January 2024 from Singapore to New York for $415 in business class.
Wow.
And
like
first they said they were going to honor it.
They
said they were going to honor it. That was earlier this week, or whenever it happened, like a little bit a while ago. And then a few days later, after they said they were going to honor it, they said, oh, never mind, we're going to cancel it. Which is, typical. Last Wednesday, they said they were going to honor it. And then later, they have said they weren't going to let people fly.
That's too bad because it's such good publicity,
Well,
when they do honor it.
I don't think it's good publicity, but I think that
No, people talk about it. People talk about it. And half
yeah,
the
but
people
I
in the
mean, at
world
the
don't
end
know
of the
what
day,
ANA is. It
the
gets them
problem
talking.
here is that I've always my attitude towards mistake fares is that I get one or two, right?
Yeah.
But then you have people who get 10, who get 20, who get 30 tickets round trip.
Or more. I mean, sometimes it's hundreds.
Right.
I mean, because people
And
move
with
fast.
that in mind, that's, then the volume becomes up. Before we had all of these blogs that are out there, it was very rare that I've never heard of anything got canceled. I don't have an issue
because nobody knew about it. Now it gets posted on an
exactly. But I honestly
blog
I don't have an issue with the airlines canceling the tickets if they do it immediately. But if they wait a week, which has happened, and here, like think about it, they go out and they say on Wednesday, hey, we're going to honor these fares. And
Right.
then what do? You book, they're honoring the fares. Great. I'm booking a hotel that's prepaid. I'm going to do some tour tickets. I'm going to do a museum. I'm going to do
vacation from my job, get my boss to let me off.
Right. And then that's unprofessional.
Never mind.
That's ANA should walk this back, and they should honor those tickets. It's ridiculous what they did. If they had said immediately, sorry, this is it. This is not going to happen.
Right.
And it happened within like 10 hours. Like they immediately decided that that's what's going to happen.
Right.
Don't wait, and don't and if you wait, then do it within 24 hours at the most, right?
I agree.
Do not wait. This is bad form, and it's typical. I mean, we've seen that happen. They're too chronic. We've had Swiss, for example. They had some first class fares from Yangon, right?
Where's that?
In Burma.
Burma.
And then from there to Japan, and then to Singapore, and then to Europe and to North America. One-way tickets in first and business class.
Okay.
And I actually did two of them because there was a long selling period for them. I did. It was a crazy routing that ended up costing for sure a ton of money. I had Yangon to Singapore, Singapore to London on the 380, and then Delta, for some reason, who's not even in Star Alliance, from London to Boston. It was a crazy routing getting back. And another one was, I think it was a simple one. It was just to Singapore and then on back to the US from there on Singapore Airlines. And nothing happened. It was uneventful. And it was like, it wasn't free. It was like $900 one way. So cheap, but not like, not like $50. So then there were some people who routed through Europe, and they routed through Europe in either first or business. And then they landed in Zurich. And then they were called over. Hey, come over here. Here's you've been downgraded to economy class.
Oh, geez.
So, and it happened with a lot of people. It was Swiss had just decided that, we're going to just do this.
Nip this one in the bud.
Yeah, but you can't do that. That's so there. I think there was a lawsuit and there was some other stuff. I don't know what happened to be so long ago. I don't even remember it. But right now, I mean, there are companies that sell software that detects these type of when there are anomalies in pricing. Yeah, so mistake fares, they don't happen as much as they used to before. Mostly it's hotels now that do it, right? But I honestly, I'm not sure. Are the days over? Yeah, we'll see. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's definitely not what it used to be.
Right. Okay. Well, I wanted to just mention a Wall Street Journal piece I read this week. Well, actually yesterday, Wednesday, the 26th of April, 2023, on air turbulence. And I thought it was interesting that some weather experts, here's a guy named Dr. Williams, are predicting that the amount of clear air turbulence, which is pretty bad air turbulence because you can't detect it ahead of time generally, in the mid-northern hemisphere is expected to more than double over the next 3 to 6 decades because of global warming. The amount of rough air reports and some injuries on part of some people who didn't have their seatbelts on, has grown over the last couple of years significantly. And the most popular international flights, which are New York to London and San Francisco to Tokyo, are apparently scheduled to over the next couple of years, each year, the amount of clear air turbulence is going to increase. So airlines are starting to be more specific in their language with pilots, and they turn. I do notice you get a little bump in the air, and they'll throw on the seatbelt light on all flights, I guess, very quickly.
Yeah,
And
that the seatbelt sign. There was a Lufthansa flight. I think that the seatbelt sign is an American thing. They're the ones who wait forever to turn it off after takeoff.
yeah, they do wait.
And
Yeah,
also before landing, turning it on way before. I'm sure that has to do with the fun.
Well, Matthew McConaughey was, I think, on that Lufthansa flight with his wife.
Right. I had no idea that he was, but I think that, the reason why is because of liability here. And we have a very close relationship of doing some shortcuts in life, of having lawyers sue everybody for everything here. So that's why it's a U.S. thing. But Lufthansa was taken off guard. And we also saw the Hawaiian flight. And then also we saw, and I haven't heard anything about that. We're following up on that. We talked about that 2 weeks ago, Marshall and I, when you weren't here. The United flight that literally almost crashed at takeoff, after takeoff, the same day as the Hawaiian flight that had the severe turbulence that sent a ton of people to the hospital with broken bones and stuff. Same day, same area as that happened. And the United flight went up to 2,000 feet and hit something in some sort of turbulence in some kind. It was a 777, and it dropped to 700 feet. It literally was right before so I don't know what the pilots did, but obviously the plane it's made to correct things like that. So the plane probably got them out of trouble, or the pilots, the combinations. United has excellent pilots, but yes, I agree. We were just talking about that 2 weeks ago. Are the planes that we see today, are they made for the turbulence we're going to see in the future?
Well, the Wall Street Journal says that they can handle it because it's not that great. But let me just understand, did it plummet 700 feet, or it became with 700 feet above the water?
I'm not going to vouch for the numbers. We can talk about that the next time we do this.
No, okay, but it got close to much too close to the water.
Yeah, let me look it up real quick, and then you can just, if you chit chat for a second about this, then I'll look it up real quick.
All right. Well, all the airlines are now training. Again, I'm quoting from the Wall Street Journal piece. Are creating more specific language to address different levels of air turbulence, particularly American Airlines. There's this one guy, he's a captain for American Airlines. He's a spokesman for the Allied Pilots Association, Dennis Tajer, and he says he's been flying for 30 years, and he has never encountered so much clear air turbulence in his life. And so American Airlines has updated its flights manuals and its training, and getting the crews to sit down much more promptly. Often they'll turn on the fasten your seatbelt sign, and passengers see the flight attendants walking back and forth, and they figure, well, they get up and head to the lavatory, and the flight attendants shoo them back into their seats. But now the airlines are saying they want any hot liquids put away real fast, food carts locked up tightly, and flight attendants to sit down at the nearest seat or in their jump seat wherever they can. One interesting thing, Tommy, is
I found the information here.
Let me just finish this one thought.
Yeah.
There's this software called SkyPath that pilots are putting on their iPads, and the iPad senses vibrations that measure turbulence, and immediately report it to all of their iPads within listening distance. So other airlines have a warning that it's coming. And United has put these SkyPath software on all the products' iPads. So I don't quite know how the iPad knows, it feels the vibrations before the plane does and knows something's coming, but it's a sort of advanced warning. So what did you find? How close to the water did they get?
It was a 777 minutes after takeoff from Maui. A 777, United flight 1722 lost 1,425 feet of altitude in a minute. And then it was a nosedive, and it regained control of the airplane at 775 feet.
Above the water.
Yes.
Oh, God.
So I'm not going to lie to you. That was so it reached 2,200 feet. It plummeted 1,425 feet within a minute.
Yeah. Terrible.
And I mean, you said that the article, for some reason, I wasn't able to. It didn't recognize my account. I usually read my Wall Street Journal. I have a subscription because I like to support journalism. But I couldn't read the article, but I'll read it on my iPad. I couldn't log on for some reason on my computer, my desktop. But I'm not sure. I'm going to say I'm not a scientist. I think it's interesting that Popular Mechanics has a headline like this, though. But I'm not sure. I'm not gonna vouch for that statement that the planes of today are going to be able to handle the turbulence in the future. I'm not standing behind a resounding yes on that. Because a plane can take a lot of beating. I'm not talking about, it's disintegrating in air. I'm talking about situations like this where, if this happened at 1,800 feet, it would have been game over.
Right.
I mean, and we're talking about a loaded 350 people plane here, plunging, right above gets control of the airplane right above the ground. That is horrifying stuff.
It is. Is that a Popular Mechanics piece you have on the screen right now?
Correct.
Oh, interesting. WTF? What the F?
Yeah, that is. I'll send it to you. I think I'm going to keep an eye on. Like I said to Marshall, we're going to keep an eye on this one. We're going to keep an eye on the investigation and figure out. This is not me using profanity, but just like Popular Mechanics says, at what WTF happened?
It looks like the subhead said it took a nosedive for, is it 21 or 31 terrifying seconds?
21 seconds.
Man, that's faster than a minute. Jeez.
Yeah, think about that. 21. So I said a minute. So we're talking about. It went from 2,250 feet to 800 feet in 21 seconds.
I don't want to think about
it. Horrible stuff. Anyway, in lighter news,
yes,
going to Europe. Why are flights so expensive right now? Normally, did we lose you there, Sonny boy?
Oh, sorry. No, you sent me a text, and I was just looking at it.
Right. We can look at that later.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't know if I can get back on. Can I get back on by going to your text? God, I hate when I do this.
People would love to see your beautiful face, Rudy.
All right. Well, you keep talking. I'll get back there.
Yeah. So what we've seen, flights to Europe right now, why they're so expensive this year. We're talking record pricing heading over to Europe. There we go. There's Rudy's gone for that one. Why is that happening? We'll wait for him to log in again. Here he is.
Sorry.
Why are prices to Europe so high right now? Do you have any idea, Rudy?
Well, it's usually demand and supply. I remember from Econ 101 at Ohio University, and there's a lot of demand, and the airlines are taking advantage of it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think that people are.
Pent up demand is the phrase that's always in quotes in news articles.
Yeah, but it really isn't. It really isn't. That many more people.
Fewer airplanes, fewer crew members.
Correct. There's a combination of things. So we know that American and United and Delta, they used the pandemic to clean house with getting rid of a ton of old airplanes. So a couple hundred planes were retired, including 757s, 767s, and other types of planes. Various regional jets were retired, and all that kind of stuff. So that obviously there are less planes. We also know that Southwest is struggling to get back to operational speed. They still have a ton of planes that are grounded because they don't have enough pilots. They are in training. They are slowly going back to work again. And it's and that's another thing. And the other thing is that Europe is particularly expensive, and that has to do with Asia. The Asian airspace Asia is not back as a travel destination. You have flights that have to do various things now because of Ukraine, and because Russian airspace is closed, the flights are longer. profits are lower, and so airlines are just not scheduling that many flights to Asia anymore. And so those things are now, so people are now focusing on Europe. And I wouldn't say that the number of flights have gone up. A lot of new nonstop flights have gone up, but there aren't really the flights from Europe, from the US to Europe aren't more than they used to be. There are some destinations that we have seen smaller equipment starting flying to. And that's kind of the gig that's going on. And how long do you think that will last?
Oh, probably till this time next year. I don't know. I would think. I got to tell you, I flew a wide body Delta from Minneapolis, St. Paul to Seoul, Korea, then changed planes to a Korean Airlines plane into Bangkok. Also, a big plane. Every single seat full. Every single one.
Wow.
And both ways. There was not a seat to be had anywhere except in the lavatory.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how it goes right now. I mean, from London to Japan, for example, they're literally all of the flights were canceled. I didn't even check this last month. I mean, the travel restrictions were gone, but you didn't see flights return. You haven't seen flights return. Cathay Pacific, Hong Kong is a little, you never know. It's not what it used to be in Hong Kong. Cathay Pacific is not flying as much as they used to. When are they going to be coming back? Asia is not back yet, and hopefully that will change soon. Because, when the flights are not available to Asia, everybody's going to Europe, right? So that's what we're seeing right now. I don't think that travel volume is up. It's just there aren't more people traveling. There are more. There are just less seats.
Fewer options. Fewer
options and people competing for less seats. That's the story.
Okay.
Last thing today is we're going to take up the credit card of the week. We're taking a look at is the Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card. Do you have this card?
I do have this card.
Okay, so it is a $550 annual fee for this card.
Yeah. Okay.
And how do we feel about that?
Well, it kills me every time I pay it, but when you look at what they're offering, you don't have to take advantage of all of what it offers to almost get that back, as I recall. I was just looking at the Capital One X card today. They just got an email from Capital One X, which is a similarly priced thing, and they pointed out, hey, you get a $300 flight credit if you book through Capital One, and you get this and you get that. And so it does bring it down to reasonableness, but I'm not up to date.
I don't think you have flight credit. I think you have a hotel credit.
No, I got a flight credit on the Capital One X card.
Really? Okay, we'll look at that card next week. Looking at so this card is.
Oh, that's got an annual travel credit too, with $300. It looks like, huh?
Yeah. So the difference with this, so I don't. If we were to let's compare it to the Capital One Venture X card.
Okay.
Capital One Venture X. There we go. It is travel credit, it says. So you have to book it through Capital One Travel.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. I used it this past year, and they just took it right off my bill.
No, they definitely do not do it. You have to book through their portal for sure.
By the way, I went to the Capital One Lounge. They only have one open. They're opening 3 more this year. I went to the one in Dallas Fort Worth. It is really, really nice.
I love that lounge. It's great. And the only problem is you have to go through Dallas to get to it, though.
Exactly.
Where there are thunderstorms and all that. I mean, the delays in Texas. And
we had to be there for the travel show. We had no choice.
Yeah. So it's a great lounge. So this is the good thing about the Capital One card is Chase Sapphire Reserve card,
which is on the right there. On the right.
Actually, it doesn't matter what you do. If you put an Uber on it, if you buy a plane ticket, and they take it off your bill, boom, you don't have to do anything.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of, because maybe that's what happened last year.
That's the one. Any travel-related stuff, you get that taken off your bill, which is very, very easy to get. So literally, this card has a $250 a year annual fee, because you're going to be, if you're watching this show, you spend more than $250 or $300 on travel for sure in a year.
Sure.
The other benefits are kind of, the one to keep an eye on for it's my general travel card, meaning that when it's not a plane tickets, we talked about that. You weren't on the 2 shows. We talked about the Amex Gold and the Amex Platinum personal cards. those two cards, the Amex Platinum is my airplane or plane ticket card. You can buy directly from the airlines. You don't have to buy through a portal, and that one gives you 5x when you on plane tickets. So that one is definitely a card to have. Much better than the business card. And we're not talking. And for those who are watching the FTU part of this broadcast, we're not talking about travel hacking. This is general, normal people credit card stuff.
Right.
And not advanced at any single level. 5x went for plane tickets. Obviously, that card has a high annual fee, $695. This one has a $550. And the credits you get from Amex are much, much more difficult to use than the ones you get from Chase. So, but this card is my general travel card. So meaning that if I am staying at a hotel that's not in a chain, if I am taking a bus, I'm taking a taxi in Paris, I'm taking an Uber outside of the US, or whatever travel related stuff, I'm taking a train, taking the subway, it's 3x on that travel. So anything travel that's not a hotel in a chain, or that's dining, which of course it's the Amex, which gives 4x, the Amex Gold that gives 4x. That's what you put where I put my money on this card. General travel.
Okay, they have something called down at the bottom, Chase Dining, but those are just selected restaurants. It may not be where you want to eat. 3
of them, and they all suck in my area. I just, nobody's going to go to Chase's website and look for restaurants. You're going to go, that guy tells you about a restaurant. And our favorite restaurants for you and me, Rudy, is obviously everything Hillstone, and they don't participate in anything.
Right.
Because they don't have to.
Right. Got it.
Because they're awesome.
We should talk about let's talk about Hillstone in another show. That's one of my favorite stuff.
No, so this card is absolutely a go-to card for me. I have it in my wallets. I use it for general travel. It also gives you great benefits for Capital for Priority Pass. You can use the dining benefits with it, and it's definitely a solid card that can stand on its own as your only premium card. With all the thing that's covered. When it comes to spending money, if you're a high spender, general travel is the way to go here. It also gives 3x on dinings, but the Bilt card does that for free. And then also and of course the Amex Platinum card is by far the winner when it comes to dining. That's all I have for today.
That's all I have for today. And let me remind you today, as we talk to you live, it's Thursday, April 27th, West Coast time, 3:49 in the afternoon. I always give the date, because if you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook or any other platform, you want to know that it's Thursday, April 27th, 2023, that you're getting this information. So if you're looking at a year later and you find that some of the credit card information has changed, it's because it's a year later. And that
for example, now it's a $60,000 sign-up bonus. That might not happen tomorrow.
Right. Otherwise, if you, Tommy and I run a very small upscale European travel company. We have a few tours on offer, a couple, not many spaces left for this year for the Christmas markets, but I think one Scandinavian tour has some room and one Christmas market tour has some room. Just go to maxatours.com, check it out. And if you go to the bottom of the page of maxatours.com, you can subscribe to my free newsletter that I haven't written one in 6 weeks, and I'm feeling very guilty. So your mailbox won't be flooded, but I send out a very personal, free travel newsletter now and then online that maybe you'd like to enjoy getting. That's at maxatours.com. You can look at the tours, and you can sign up for the newsletter for free as well. That's all I got to plug.
Cool.
Thank you. Travel safely.
Rudy, or weekend coming up. And we will see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
It's a date.